Right, well, good afternoon everybody. I've just managed to get up. I normally like to start the videos off from down home, but today, once I get the blood off my finger, today I've come straight up the allotment because simple fact, it's absolutely lovely afternoon, sun shining out there. So I thought I'd get up and get cracking because there's a few bits and pieces that I like to do this time of the year before we settle down for the new year. Main priority was to get checking the bedding. As I say, the spring bedding's in here, and hopefully next week I'm going to put some extra shelving in the lower tunnel and get all this out of here, because with the weather starting to warm up, this end of the year, the 100-foot greenhouse, it easily warms up, and that's the last thing I want. I don't want to get too warm in here, especially not for these. That's just that's a tray full of pink delphiniums, and they're absolutely fantastic. Really lovely little plants. The roots are just starting to come to the bottom there, so I'm well chuffed for that. These will sit here, as I say, till next week until I get the rest of the shelving put up, and then we can get these out of here. At the moment, they're doing absolutely marvellous. These are Bella's Daisy. Perfect. Not a mark on them. No sign of any bugs or anything. And it's just one of the main things that I like to keep checking on. And of course, with using my own compost, as I say, you will get a few weeds going through. But once you get to know your weeds from their seeds, it's easy enough job to go through them, pick out the weeds, and of course, lovely little plants. And come March, they'll be fantastic. Just a nice size for planting out in the garden. And of course, Bella's are perennial, so they last you for years. I like to grow them from seed every year, because you get a pack of Bella seed and you'll get hundreds of seed. It might be a bit fiddly at first, but once you get the hang of sowing your own seed, it's a great way of bringing up your plants. And of course, if you're growing for family and friends, ideal. Tray full of Sweet William, tray full of small lupin, and of course, which I mentioned the other day on one of my last videos, these are just bunching onion. Now these have just been a cold greenhouse right through the winter, and they're growing away fine. Now, as I mentioned, there are a couple of them that it is possible to sow in a cold greenhouse with onion seed. But what I like to do, when I get these out of here, I'll drop one of the shelves and put the shelf up on here so it's right near the light, right as far as it can. And what I'll be doing, I'll be putting an old bit of carpet down on the staging, and I'll be sitting on some little propagators, no heat whatsoever, just a couple little plastic propagators with lids on, and then a bit of carpet can go over the top, or you can use fleece, you can use newspaper, anything you want, as long as it keeps the worst of the coldness out, and just in that cool greenhouse, and that's all you want. And you can start setting a few seeds away now. As I say, the allium family are really strong, same as your leeks. Now I'll be starting my leeks off next week, my pot leeks, which I grow every year. So I'll be starting them off. I'll put some in a cold greenhouse, and I'll put some in the tunnel where the gas heater is, which I've got my leeks in under there, the big show leeks and the big show onions. I've got a little bit of heat on there, only 50-55, nothing any more than that. Any extra heat that's spilling out the melon house is going at the tunnel, and it's warming the tunnel up, maybe just a couple of degrees. But we've got spring cabbage, we've got Japanese onions in there, and they're romping away. But I'll show you all that later on. But for the time being, as I say, our main priority is getting some of this bedding sorted out. I may have to pot these up again. Now these are the big large white poppy. Well, once they go in the garden, they'll self-seed themselves. But it's just getting the first sowing done, get a nice strong plant with a good root system, get it in your garden, and as I say, it'll self-seed, and you'll have free flowers for life. Pansies are another good thing. I know they're only small at the moment, but once this place starts warming up, they'll gallop away. It'll be just nice for planting out my baskets in March, and hopefully I'll get a nice show of flowers in the April and May. Now normally these should have been planted out the back end of last year, but as I say, with having my accident, I was a little bit poorly, I couldn't get anything done, so that's what held me up there. But yeah, apart from that, everything's growing away fine. There's another nice group of flowers, and these are the Californian poppy. The bright orange are beautiful, and their roots are well out. So I may have to do a little bit of potting off, but to me that's nothing. That's just another little job. If you want to save on your compost, you go back on some of the old videos and I showed you how to make my compost up. 50-50. Your own compost up that I bring up in the garden, a bit of horse manure, 50-50 with ordinary compost from the shops, shop bought, and a couple of handfuls of sand, perlite, and you can make your own mix up, whatever strength you want. I use a little bit of bone meal for my strawberries. I use all my own bedding. I use my own mix for that, so it can save you a few pounds. But today, as I say, I've been boiling some water down home. We're going to go into the polytunnel now. I hired a couple of tea bags of camomile into a bowl, top it up with boiling water to a litre, tip that into the spray, and a good dollop of soapy washing up liquid, and then I'm going to lash my dahlias with that. I've got the dahlias in there now on the heat now, so the first job this year is to get them a good soaking. We'll get that done. What I want to do is sort out a few of my 2-gallon rose pots, and these are for the leek seed. Now you might think that's a bit bigger pot for just for a few leek seed. Believe you me, it's not. Up here in the northeast we can't plant any leeks out until at least May, beginning of May, and they've got to be well hardened up because we can get frosts up here in June. So what I like to do is I like to start off in a good 2-litre pot. A packet of seed, you normally get 200 to 300 seed in a packet. Now if I split that packet up into 6 pots, I'm averaging around about 50 seed per pot, which is fine for me, which is ideal. And you'll see by middle of May, this will be absolutely full of root. The leeks will be that high, and they'll be pencil thick, and they'll be perfect for planting out. And that's how I grow my pot leeks every year the same way, and I never have any failure. So if you want to grow some pot leeks, and you want to set away now, you've got no heating, well, just follow us and we'll show you how to go on. But for the time being, as I say, I've been sorting through the pots. A lot of these I'll be using. The bigger the better, really, the pot you can give. If you're only going to sow a packet of seed, as I say, you'll probably get 300 seed in one packet. But if it's only for yourself, well, I'll sow 6 pots of that, and 5 of them will be given away. 1 of them will be for myself. As I say, I'll have my leeks, I'll have my onions, my show leeks, everything that's in a good pot of pot leeks, and they're great. I've got pot leeks out in the garden now, and they're fantastic for January and February for your soups and stews, and that's what we like. But for the time being, I'm going to pop in there next door and we're going to get this spray sorted out. Okay? See you all again soon. Right, well, welcome back. As you can see, we're in the little melon house now. This is where I put my little heater behind this little gas heater. I've only got set on number 1. And if I look, it's 55 in here. It's a bit of sunshine there, which warms the main polytunnel up. And of course, with having a little heater on here, it's fine. It's keeping around about 50-55. And I don't think it'll drop below 45 through the night with this little heater on, which is perfect for me. It's all I need. I set my leeks away, set my onions away in this temperature, and I'm fine with it. As I say, now it's red hot, that's lovely. As I say, what I did this morning, just before I come up here, I set the kettle away, and I put 2 tea bags in a litre jug. Let's get this nice and tight. Oh, that's red hot. Pick that up, and I put a good couple of sprays of, good handfuls of soapy washing up liquid in with it, into the spray. Give that a good, there, and then we can get these. Well, these are the dahlia tubers. They've been on the heat for about a fortnight. They were under the benches for about 6-7 weeks, and drying out, and they're just lovely. I've just brought them out of the street there, and what I'm hoping to do, they've been nice and dry. The compost that were in the pots is bone dry. So what I done last week when I brought them out, I put a little bit of water just around the stools, not actually on the tubers, just around the compost, just to wet the compost. And all I'm doing now with the boiling water and the chamomile tea, I'm just giving them a spray with that. And there's more steam than anything else coming out of there. That's boiling hot. That's going to keep it nice and clean, and that's hopefully with the hot water That's the first water they've had for about 6 or 7 weeks now. Hopefully the boiling water is going to kick-start them off into growth. And that's them done. That's the one job I must get done. I'm quite happy with that. There's I've got 12 tubers in here, all big show varieties. So I'm hoping that's going to set them away. Now what I've got left in here, they'll come in handy. I'll take the top off now, because what I don't want is to have it too hot. I'll let it cool down. I'll take the top off it now, and then I'll spray my chrysants. Right, I'll let that cool down for a half an hour. And what I'll do, I'll spray my chrysants for that, give them a good soaking. I'm well pleased with that. The stools are up the top end there. They've been in here since a fortnight ago. I potted them up into some nice fresh compost, get the stools a good cleaning down, repotted them and give them a drink of water, and they're well away. I'm well pleased with them, and hopefully we'll get some nice cuttings in about a fortnight's time. We can start taking cuttings. We'll get our propagators already. Got small propagators that we use. Got our small trays. I'll take these down, give them a good wash, and these are as cheap as chips to pick up. As I say, from anywhere. Just ordinary seed tray, they'll fit in them, and they're great for in here. It just gives that extra bit of protection from the cold. Now your dahlias, if anyone wants to start your dahlias this year, there's a lot of people who commented last year that didn't really have the room to store dahlias. I know it can be pretty cumbersome. I mean, that's just one tuber there and it's massive. It fills a whole pot up. But what I was going to do last year, if you remember one of my videos on the flowers last year, I says I would show you how to make pot tubers. Well, that's what I'll do this year, but it'll be a later date. It'll be around about the May and June when we start nipping out some of the buds, nipping off some of the flowers. And what I'll do, I'll take some of the side shoots away, take cuttings off them, and we'll make some pot tubers. And hopefully we'll end up with some nice, if I can find a pot, they're usually lying around, just a 9 centimetre pot. That's all you want. We'll get some cuttings taken, get them rooted, and we'll put them in these 9 centimetre pots, and hopefully we'll end up with a nice tuber in that size pot. You can leave it in the pot if you want, and then in the January or the February put in a little bit of heat and take your own cuttings from that, or just grow it on as it is and for planting out in the garden in March and April, whatever part of the country you're at. But we'll do that this year. We'll take pot tubers. We'll do exactly the same with the chrysants. If you haven't got a lot of room, you've only got a small greenhouse, and you want to overwinter some of these beauties for next year, then this is the way to do it. We'll do pot tubers. But that's another job for the summer. As I say, there was loads I wanted to do last year, but I never got around to it. Right, so we're off this year. Well, December the 1st, New Year's Eve tomorrow night, so I'll be getting my seeds sorted out. As I say, pot leeks, that's one of my priorities. Now they're going to be in. I might go down home and start sowing some of these down home and then bring them back up here. What I want to do is to get the big pots sorted out, get them washed, cleaned, get a good compost already made up, and then we can start sowing them. That's the pot leeks. Now chilies, I've got these off one of the lads on the internet, Dean Hood of Dean's Lost the Plot. These are Long Joe chilies. I'll certainly be sowing them next week, because with chilies and peppers you need a really long growing season. You want a really nice big plant round about the end of March, end of April, for planting out in your beds or in the pots. So the idea is to start them off now, but you will need a little bit of heat. I have sown them in a cold greenhouse in March and April, but you get a smaller plant and it takes longer for the fruit to set in them. But ideally you want to get the fruit setting in the summer when it's nice and warm. But as I say, you can sow them in the March time if you haven't got any heat. I know there's a lot of people online looking at some of the leeks and onions and what's coming on now, and they're saying, God, I must be miles behind. No, you're not. These are the big lads, these are the big growers, the showmen, and they're growing for their shows, the early shows, and they're getting as big as they can ready for them shows. If you're just growing for the allotment for yourself, or to, impress your family and friends, you've got stacks of time. Believe you me, right up till the end of March before you even, you can start sowing cold. If you have got a little bit of heat on, that's fine. You can start sowing them now. What I like to do, especially with my flowers, I'll make a cardboard box and I'll go up in the loft. I've got no heat on the loft upstairs. I'll cut a cardboard box, line it with tin foil, and I'll put that under one of my Velux windows, and I'll use that to start sowing me geraniums and me busy lizzies. Fine in that. No more than 60 degrees, 55 to 60 upstairs in my loft. Well chuffed for that, and they'll come away nice and easy. But what that does is it frees up a little bit of room down here on the allotment, and it frees up a little bit of room in the greenhouse at home, which if I can bring them up in the loft to a decent size, and then when I prick them off they'll come up here and they'll be a lot stronger to go by. But that's a plan. But there's plenty of time for that, as I say. Shallots, that's another one. I sowed a tray full of them last year, and what I did, I just let them go to seed, actually in that trays. They bulbed up lovely, and I've got some nice bulbs off them. And what I've done, I've planted them now in 6cm pots, and they're in the bottom tunnel, and already they're shooting away. So what we'll do, we'll show some shallots this week. Spring onions, easiest thing in the world to sow. They'll just go in a cold greenhouse, no problem. The pot leeks, I've got something now. I have got a new one this year. I've got blue-green, the autumn Neptune, and they're rust resistant. I always like to try a different variety every year, but I always stick to my musselburgh as my main crop, and I just see how the leeks compare to them. Now, these do say they've got a rust resistant. Well, that's good for up here in the northeast, because that's one of the problems we all have up here with our leeks and our onions. As I say, all the olive follow me, your onions, your leeks, your garlics, they all suffer from rust. So you know, if you can prevent it, then that's a great thing. I'll be bringing mine inside soon, my garlics, into the bottom tunnel, and I'll let them flower in the tunnel here, and hopefully that'll keep a lot of the rust away. When they're outside, they will get it. It's an airborne disease, and it's just one of them things. Unless you're prepared to spray chemicals on them to keep it rust free, that's fine. I don't. I just let them go. If they catch it, they catch it. And that's how we get by. The spring cabbage in here, they've got a bit of leaf nibble around. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a garlic spray up this week. I want to give all the spring cabbage a spraying with that. And I think I'll come back onto the chrysanthemums. Once I spray the chrysanthemums with this, when it cools down, I'll follow up with a garlic spray, and all that does is puts that bit of garlic, that taste on the leaves. And if anything that's hatching out in the next couple of weeks, with the weather warming up, little caterpillars, you might have missed a few little legs underneath one of the leaves. They'll be hatching out in the warmth, and they'll start nibbling away at the leaves. So what I'll do is I'll give them a good spray in the garlic, and it's a preventive. It'll not kill them, but it's a preventive. Gets on that leaves, and it's certainly going to stop them from munching on them. It's going to leave a foul taste in their mouth, and that's the whole idea. Prevention's got to be better than cure. I've always said that over the years. You know, if you can prevent something from eating your plants or don't damage them, by all means try it. So garlic spray next week. What I'll do, I'll get the little heater up here. I'm not going to make it out down home again. I'll get another bollocking off the missus for actually stinking the house right through. So all you need is a couple of garlic cloves. I've got some old cloves here that I hadn't sown. It's starting to green up, they're starting to bud. So what I'll do with these, 2 or 3 of them, I've got loads planted out there. These are just spare ones, and all they'll get is crushed. A pan of boiling water. We'll steep them for a couple of hours in a pan of boiling water. Pour it into a spray, add a bit of washing up liquid, and the plants will get a good soak with that. And hopefully that'll prevent any beasties from nibbling away them. So I think I've done it here. I'm just waiting for this to cool off, so I can get my chrysanthemum sprayed. And then I'm going to go down home, I'm going to mix the makeup, and we'll get cracking on these leeks. We'll get the leeks in, we'll get the onions sown, and we'll leave the chilies till next week. But for the time being, great stuff. The clouds just come over there now. I can feel the temperature just dropping a little bit. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon here, so the sun's way down now. But it's been a lovely day up here in the northeast. And of course it makes a big difference to the greenhouse, and a big difference to your heating bill. Once the sun gets up, your heat will cut out, which it says. As I say, it's 55 in here. I'm well chuffed for that. So it's cut out. It'll be come back on soon, because you see the sun's way down there now. But that tells me it's time to get myself cracking. I'll get these chrysanthemums sprayed with this. Get that all tied back up again. It's cooled down a lot since when I first come up. Of course it was boiling hot, and that's where I like to give the dahlias it nice and hot. and hopefully that'll kick-start them into a bit of growth. But that's just nice now. Yeah, I'll get a chrysanthemum spray with that, and we'll call it a day. But I'm going to pop down and we'll finish this video off down at home with it. Morning everyone. Well, hopefully I get this video finished. First thing, Happy New Year everybody. Hope you all had a nice Christmas and a good holiday. I've had a really quiet break over the last couple of weeks, but it's been nice. I've managed to pop up the garden for a couple of hours every now and again and just make sure everything's ticking over. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I've got quite a few coming online now. If you are new to the site, well, welcome. As you'll find out in videos past that, I always like to start off down here at home. I've got my little 6x6 greenhouse at home, which I have a little bit of heat on. I've got my light at the back. I've turned it off because I've noticed on past videos that the light does a bit of an extraction at the back, distraction, and it flickers away, so I've turned that off. This morning what I've been doing is, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is I wanted to get cracking on my pot leeks. Now, I know it might surprise a few people seeing the size of the pot just for a few leek seeds, but believe you me, if you want a good leek for planting out around the end of April and it's beginning of May for up here in the northeast, while we're frost free. I mean, we can't get frost up into June, but if you grow your leeks this way, nice and hardy, and you shouldn't have any problem. As I say, I like to use a 2 litre rose pot, nice and deep. As with any pot you're using, doesn't matter what size it is, always bring it up to about an inch below the rim of your pot, and that way you'll always have a good distribution of seed and a good germination. You'll not be planting them too deep, and that's what it's all about with your seedlings. If you're new to sowing, these packets here, they're a great little thing for giving you information. Once you've been gardening for a few years, you'll probably just throw the packet at one side, get a seed in, and you'll know what you're doing. But for anybody that's starting up, they're a great little source of information. They'll not really give you your planting times, your sowing times, what they like and the dislikes. Always like to look at the seed count. On every packet there should be a seed count, and that gives you an idea of what pots to sow in. Now I've filled these 6 2 litre pots up here, all the same. It's my own compost. Why I like to use my own compost for the leek seed is because they're going to be in these pots for at least 3 to 4 months. So I want some feed in that pot to feed them young leeks. I don't want to feed them with any unnatural feeds or synthetic feeds. I just like my own. There's a bit of bone meal, there's some horse manure in there, and it's good garden compost riddled through there. If you go back in some of the other videos, you can see how I make the mix up. I will do another video in a couple of weeks time when I start mixing the new batch of compost up, and I'll show you how I do it. Difference with my compost is you will get some weeds growing through it because it's not heat treated. But hey, once you learn your weeds from your seeds, it takes 5 minutes just to go through them and pick a few bits of grimsel or whatever's growing in there, a bit of grass or whatever. But yeah, seed count is very important. Now on this one it's 350 seed for £2. Can't beat it. And of course these are Sutton's. Fantastic company, I've used them for years. Alongside DT Brown, Kings. Now if you want to save a few bob, you can go online on Premier Seeds. Now they're another good company, but what they do, they just send them out in little packets, little polythene packets, no bells and whistles on them, no fancy packaging, just a little packaging, and they're as cheap as chips. Good seed, I've used them for a couple of years, and then the rest of my seedling, the basics, I get it in shields. You can go to any of the supermarkets and sell seed, the likes of lettuce, you know, small stuff, the belia, different small flowering seeds, so you can pick them up, no problem. But for the main stuff, I like to send away, and I like to get all the good stuff. I've also got shullers to show. I'm going to do them today. And I've got another leek. It's a blue-green and autumn one. I'm going to try that one this year. I always like to try a couple of different varieties each year to see how they compare to the ones that I grow. As I say, I've grown mussel for about 40 years now. Fantastic leek, and I always do well up in the northeast. But we do have more problems with rust. The leeks being a part of the allium family, and onions, garlics, they all suffer from rust, especially through in the dark winter months. So this one is resistant to leak and rust, so I'm going to try that and see how it goes. So I will be planting that today. But what I've done, I've separated them leeks. As I say, there's 350 seeds in there, and all I've done, quite easy to separate, nice little black seeds. All the allium polymer are the same. Very easy to do. And what I like to do is I just like to tip the whole packet out. On my hand, and then I can divide it up into sections. Now, as I say, I've filled 6 pots here, so I'll just divide them seed into 6. But what I like to do is I just like to take a pinch between finger and thumb, do each pot, and then whatever I've got left, go around again. So you're more or less guaranteed to have about 60 to 70 leeks in each pot. And to me, that's where I like to sow mine. So they're now sown. It's as I say, it's an inch from the top. It's already been pre-watered with warm water, fresh water, like I bring up every day. I'm always on about that. Always keep your water tank nice and fresh. Always keep your watering can from the house, let it warm up, and it's always nice and fresh. Now they've been pre-soaked, so they're all done. As I say, I'm always shopping around for bargains. Pound shop. You get a little set, little dibber, and a little sieve, and they're perfect. Now for my topping, I use my same thing. I use my compost, but I put a bit extra sharp sand with it, and I always put a handful of perlite, and I mix that in. And there's no easier method, and just giving it a little. You can never overdo this with your sowing. As I say, if you bring it to an inch below your pot, and then you fill that back up to within a half inch, that's about a quarter of an inch covering for leeks, no problem. Now they don't need any more watering. What I sometimes do is I give my leeks a spraying with chamomile tea, but unfortunately, if you look at my video before, it's up the allotment, and of course I need to clean that out because I had a chamomile tea in it, and the spray got a bit jammed up, so I must bring that down today, get it cleaned out, and then once the leeks break surface, I'll give them a good spray of chamomile. Now here's one stuff down here. As I say, I just like to bring stuff down here that I can put on with. I'm still not fully fit yet, so I do like to do a little bit of work down in the greenhouse. These will go into a tray, and when my brother comes down, they'll go up the allotment. Cool greenhouse. Some will go into the 100-foot greenhouse, which I've got the little greenhouse at the side, which is doubly layered inside. No heating though, it's just frost free, and that's where they'll sit in there all the time. So I don't like to hurry anything on. You can wait until about the end of this month, well into February for your leeks. Depends on when you want to sow them. It depends on when you want to plant them out in your garden, what space you've got in the garden. Because you can sow leeks right up until March. What I like to do now is I like to do them in January, as I say, in the big pots. And come May, when I plant these out, they'll be a good foot 8 inches tall, and they'll be pencil thick. And that's the way I like to sow my leeks. They'll be perfect for planting out. But if you want to put leeks in now, by all means, if you just follow them couple of little tips, get them in. But you have got right up until March to sow. So what I'm going to be cracking on with today, I'm going to get the rest of the leeks in, and get these shallots done, and then I'm going to crack on with the peppers. Now peppers need a long growing season, so the sooner I can get them in, really, the better. They will need a little bit of heat to start off with. What I have done, I have set peppers away in the March when it starts warming up naturally outside, but in a propagator, no heat proper, just a plastic cover over the top inside the greenhouse. And as I say, the temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit then, but they are slow growing if you're going to set them away in March without any heat. But if you've got a little bit of heat on, by all means pop them in, and if you can get a nice big plant ready for planting out in end of April, beginning of May, and then you should get a good crop of peppers and chilies, because as I say, they are a long grown plant. So we'll be starting, I think I'll start the next video off with the chilies and the peppers next week. What I'm going to do this afternoon is, I'm going to get the last of these finished, give everything a good watering, feeding, where need be, and then just carry on. I might do a bit potting off. That's a PG Leeks onions, I should say. I think I Peter Glazebrook, but there's not much heat in here, and they're just taking over, and that's all I want. I don't want them any bigger than that. Actually, I might take them up. I might take them up the allotment next week, and I might pot them up into a 9cm pot, because it looks like the little cups are starting to get a bit root on the bottom. So yeah, that's it. I'm well chuffed. That's a Leeks in. That's another good start. So what we'll do next week, I'm going to the garden this afternoon. I'm just getting a delivery of some wood from one of the friends. And I've had a lot of good friends around to give a hand with getting it in the garden. I'm going to build some new shelves in the bottom polytunnel, because next week we'll start the strawberries. I know we've taken the baskets in, but as I had said in my previous video, I like to have them sitting for about at least a fortnight. What we've done, we've given them a good cleaning off, pull all the old leaves off them. They will need a spraying this week, so I'll make a garlic spray up. I'll give them a good spray of garlic, and I'll just sprinkle around a spoonful of sulphate of potash. Get a change on them, because they've lost a bit of weight now with starting to dry out in the polytunnel. They're still nice and moist, so they'll not get any water for at least another fortnight. So that's going to be a month they've been sitting in there without any water at all, which is fine. And the crowns are just starting to bud up there nicely. There's nice growth coming on there, so now's the time. I'll give them a good spray of garlic, get a sulphate of potash on them, get the chains on them, and then we'll get them hung up, and then they'll just romp away from there. But we'll do that next week. That'll be in the start of the new video. So if you're wanting to follow how we do our strawberries, well, keep watching. But as I say, for now, I'm getting the pot leeks in. I'm well pleased with that. It's quite an easy job to do. As I say, it doesn't matter what size pot you use. Always bring it up a ½ inch below your pot, or an inch below your pot, by the time you put your seed in, and then you know how much compost you can put on top without actually choking your seeds. As I say, it doesn't matter what size it is, as long as you keep that same golden rule of sowing on the top, and you'll be fine. I use a multitude of pots. I think these are fantastic. I'll be using these next week, because I've got some kale I sent away for a specialty kale. It's called Iceberg. It's a lovely dark green one, but it's got a white inner heart. So what I'm going to be doing next week is just to sow 12 kale. There's actually 25 in a packet. It costs us nearly £2 a packet for 25 seed, and that's what I say. It's always important when you get your packets to look at your seed count, and that will tell you what size pot or tray or whatever you want. There's no way I'd be sowing 25 seed in a half-size seed tray like that. No way, because it takes up too much compost. You can quite easily sow them in there in a pot like that, and then pot them off later on, and it saves all that compost earlier on. But what I'm going to do with the kale and some cauliflowers, I'm going to sow them in multi-cell trays. So I'm not using up much compost, and as I say, once you fill them pots, they can go into cups or square containers like that, and then they'll sit out in the cold frames or in the cold polytunnel until I'm ready to plant them out in the end of April. Fine. So that's where I like to sow all my things. I've got a multitude of trays, and these are just from the butchers. Little holes in them. You get a packet of seed with 50 to 60 seed in. Quite easy to sow them in them. And what I like to do with 10 to 15 seed, I like the small trays. I'll be sending away from the different flowering seeds. Geraniums not. Now geraniums, you'll only get 10 seed in a packet if you're lucky. 10 to 15 seed, and they're perfect. Just a small tray, 10 to 15 seed in there, good bit of compost on the top, and you're well away. They'll grow on really well to nice and young little plants till they're ready for planting out. Just always make sure they're nice and clean. As I say, I like to go through all my trays and pots, give them a good scrubbing down. What I did do last week, as you can see on the last video, I finished off with the last of my grapevines. Now these will be, I put an extra 4 in there. These will be for Dave, of Dave's allotment, and a couple for Dean Hood on Dean's Uster plot. Well, these are the white grapes. I've got about 3 pots already sown up in the garden for family and friends. I might keep a couple myself, and these will be for Dean and for Dave. So that's another job out the way. As I say, there's quite a lot of things you can be doing at the moment. Cracking on the greenhouse. I know a lot of people will be itching to get going, A lot of the young ones, a lot of the new ones, so just hang fire. If you haven't got any equipment, if you haven't got the basic equipment in your greenhouse, I know I just like to lag some of my greenhouses up the allotment, which gives that a bit added protection. But what I do like to use a lot of is just that little plastic propagators, just propagator hoods, and they go in the cold greenhouse, and you'd be surprised how much difference that can make to the heat. Now there's another tray there. I've just sown them 2 weeks ago, and that's another tray of Ailsa Craig. No, I'm never in a hurry to pot them off. A lot of people start potting them off at that stage. That's what you call the crook stage. And but I'm never in any hurry. And these are big giant onions, these Ailsa Craig. So I'll let them go for another couple of weeks. As I say, I'm a bit chocker at the moment for room down here. So I'll let them go for another couple of weeks. And then what I'll do is I'll clear some of these leeks and onions out. I've got a few bits of potting off to be done. I've got some Leeks here that I've got off Dean Hood. And they've been sitting there for a couple of weeks now, and the roots are just starting to come to the bottom there. So what I'll do with these, I'll pot the ellies up, and I'll get them up the allotment where there's a little bit of heat on up there. I've got a couple of rows of Spanish onions that I've pricked off. They'll grow up, and that'll create us a little bit more room down here, and then as I say, I can get sown again. But it's all about timing. It's getting me stuff up to a decent height, decent size, and then I can shift it up the allotment where it's a little bit cooler up there, but it'll grow on just as good. But, well, chuffed for that. As I say, I wanted to get this video finished today so I can get it online tonight, and then next week we'll crack on with the strawberries. But once again, thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, and thanks for subscribing. As I say, there's a load of new lads coming on, a load of new lasses and all, but welcome everybody. I will get a chance to speak to you all sometime through the growing season. I know I haven't get many videos up this year, but with my accident. But hey, I'm really looking forward to this year. I've got a lot of ideas that me and Roger want to put into practice that we were going to do last year, but unfortunately with his having me little trip, I never managed to get any of them done. We're hoping to get our poultry back, so I'll be looking around for a propagator. I used to propagate all my own eggs a couple of years ago. So what I might do this year, if I get a few pounds saved up, buy myself another propagator and look around for some good flocks and some nice fertile eggs, and we'll get cracking on my poultry again. Maybe it's for next year if we'll get one of our sheds done. But we'll take you all through that. We love the chickens, we love the fresh eggs, and it's just another part of the allotment. And of course we love the dung off the chickens. Chicken muck's one of the best fertilisers going, as long as you use it right. Same as pigeon muck, just don't use it too hot. Make sure it's old. What we like to do, we like to add it to our compost bins, and that gives it a great richness in your compost bins. Fantastic. But what I'll do next week, before I start the strawberries off, I'll empty one of the compost bins out, and I'll show you what you can expect. What you can expect out of one of your bins. Treat it the same way we do. Just riddle it through, take most of the heavy stuff off. Good mixture. Add it to your compost, add it to your sand, add it to your perlite, and it's a fantastic mixture. And we've used it for years, and if it works for us, it's going to work for you, you know. And we've never changed our routine. But yeah, for the time being, thanks again. As I say, keep on sharing and keep on subscribing, and we'll get back to this next week and we'll get cracking with the strawberries. Okay, so bye for now.